So I thought I'd do another quick little video, seeing as it's Friday. I've had a good few queries recently about reactivity with dogs, which means usually on lead, reacting to some kind of stimulus in the environment. And it's very common, and it's something owners can get very frustrated with. It's something you need to actively plan with your puppy. If you have a 4 or 5 month old puppy, you actively need to plan for this not to be allowed to develop. It's no good just hanging onto the lead and hoping your dog doesn't get interested in all these outside things, such as maybe buggies, bikes, other dogs is usually a big trigger. Teach your dog from a very young age that these things are boring, totally uninteresting. Cassie, get your ball. Totally uninteresting, and that you're absolutely more fun. So every time you can see that there's a dog up ahead, a bike, a kid, something like that, make yourself more interesting. So get out your toy, get out your food. Teach the dog that thing that they think is really exciting actually isn't. It's just blah, nothing, and you become more interesting. So bring your toys and your food and your exciting things out on your walk to actively teach your dog that you're the most fun. And when you think about it, a lot of these, when dogs are reacting on lead, especially to other dogs, if they're barking and lunging, do all that kind of thing, it's not usually true aggression. For a dog to be truly aggressive towards another dog, they're usually very quiet. They usually are giving off a lot more subtle body language. A barking dog usually isn't showing signs of aggression, usually. In most cases, it's either fear or frustration. Frustration because that dog has usually a learned history of playing with other dogs. So they might have a neighbourhood dog, they might have 2 or 3 other dogs in the household, they might regularly play with other dogs. So on one level you're saying, run off there and play with other dogs and have fun. And then, maybe at the weekend you're saying, actually, I want to bring you for a walk and I want you now to ignore other dogs. So the dog doesn't understand the difference. They're just going on learned experience and thinking, right, when I'm out on a walk, I'm supposed to look for other dogs and play with them. So I always like to teach in my classes, teach for what you want to be the norm. Do you want it to be the norm that your dog sees another dog and loses their head? Or do you want it to be the norm that your dog sees another dog and thinks, oh, there's another dog, no big deal. That's really what the norm is. 95% of the time when you pass another dog, you don't know the person and you're just walking on. So teach your dog that. And then the 5% of the time, your dog should be social enough from any positive experience it has as a puppy and meeting a few older dogs to be able to stop and have a sniff and have a play. I know my dogs certainly are social enough with other dogs to do that, but the majority of the time we ignore any other dogs out there. So if that's not done, and you don't teach your dog to ignore other dogs, you put a lead on, a barrier, to prevent them from playing out this behaviour that has been massively rewarding for weeks and months even, and you see a massive build-up of frustration. So, that'll be high-pitched barking, lunging, desperate to get to the other dog, and massively inappropriate and not at all fun. Another reason why a lot of dogs will bark and be reactive on the lead is fear. And it can be hard for owners to understand this one because, they see their dog barking and lunging and having an aggressive display, and that can be interpreted as true aggressiveness. But an aggressive display is often very different from actually true aggression. And the way I would usually test a dog like this is have them in a safe area, off lead, and let them have access to another dog through a gate, so I can see for sure what kind of reaction and emotions are truly behind their actions. In a lot of times, especially small dogs that seem to be very aggressive on lead around other dogs, they'll hide behind their owner because the lead has been taken away, and they can act normally. When you put a lead in a dog, you take away their option to act normally. They can't give out passive signals, they can't crouch down, they can't give, passive look away signals or, anything like that. You're taking away their communication. So when a small dog is reacting like that, and if it is fear, think of their bark as usually, in our terms of what we would understand, it's their way to look for space. They're saying to the other dog, please, I need space, stay away, stay away. You're mortified, so you remove the dog. Or the other owner thinks, that dog's a lunatic, and they move the dog away. So it's massively rewarding then for the dog, and they learn through repetition that when they bark at another dog, they get the space they need, and then of course that behaviour continues. So anyway, 5 minutes are up, so have a little think about why your dog is reacting the way they are, and plan for it not to happen in the first place. Okay, where's your ball? Get it.